And I went into the mirror, drank my beer, looked at myself in the mirror, and all of a sudden I had like a slideshow. And that slideshow was like I was laying on a bench, a metal bench, and I remembered them actually, these ETs, I'd like to call them the Greys, which, honestly, me truthfully, for whoever believes that, these alien races are good and they're here to help us, no, they're not. This planet is being destroyed left and right. And they put a triangular mark on me, and I saw this in the slideshow. So I pulled my shirt off, and sure enough, that triangular mark was on my body. And from that point on, I, a lot of people who deal with mind control, MK Ultra, they develop, obsessive, you get very obsessive with things. Then I started drinking heavily. I couldn't stop drinking. I couldn't stop drugging. I got myself, in a lot of trouble. I believe that it was all supposed to happen. They wanted it to happen. They wanted to see me suffer. So I, was digging in and digging in and digging in, and I woke up and I went to the computer and I looked at my Facebook and I saw that very tower, and it said Montauk, and I said, Montauk? And I didn't even remember where Montauk was. Now, mind you, I've spoken to other people, friends of mine, and they have told me, yeah, bro, the schools used to bring us. And, I don't know how true it is because of the timing. I might have slipped through, like the 2020 back type thing. I have no recollection. I just know that for a long time I would lay my head in my pillow at night, not be able to sleep, total insomnia. It was, I would cry my eyes out. I tried to commit suicide on several occasions. So I ended up deciding, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to be brave and I'm going to go see what's going on. Now, mind you, I didn't even need directions to this place. Me and a friend, we got in the car and we just drove straight out to Montauk. And I said, make this right, make this left, make this right, and then make this left. And all of a sudden, bam, right in front of me was that tower. So my friend looks at me and he says, bro, I feel like I've been here before. I don't know if this is a good idea. I feel like we might get taken. And I said, taken? He said, yeah, taken. And I said, nah, man, I'm going in there and I'm going to see what's going on. And I went in there and, when I went inside the tower itself, I went to all the way to the top of the tower. Now, my friend claims that we got taken, and I had no memory of this. I totally blacked out, missing time. My cell phone started acting up. It said one time, his phone said another time. It was very, paranormal-ish. I felt I was trapped in a time warp, and there was no getting out of it. All of a sudden, I'm sitting by the tower. I look up at the tower, and I look at my friend, and I'm laughing as we're about to leave, and I look through one of the gates, and there's a black car, and it looks almost like an original, type vehicle that the CIA would be driving. And all of a sudden, when I looked up at the tower, I felt a strike on my head. And I fell to the ground. And I started spinning out. And I started having memories of underground bases and of being chained to walls and having my head dumped in water to the point of almost death, and then them bringing me back and telling me that they are God and that they are going to help me. Sometimes this gets to be a little touchy for me, this subject, because I still deal with trauma today. To this day, I don't believe that any of us that have been through this will ever fully heal. I believe that this is a lifetime healing process. And I just started having really weird things start happening to me. My brain would start, like, electronics would go off. I'd walk past the light switch, all of a sudden the lights would go out. Sometimes a cell phone, like before, my phone was acting funny before I got on the show. It wouldn't power on. It was giving me problems. But as soon as I put the charger in the wall and I put the phone charger into the actual phone itself, the phone went right on. So I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to give you a Corey Good story. I'm not going to give you an Emery Smith story. I'm not going to give you a James Rink story. I'm going to give you a Sean Fowler story. I'm not going to give you a delusional story of remembering that I was on another planet and I was doing this and I was doing that. Because in all actuality, when you go through these programs, they do not want you to fully remember what you've went through. They want to fill your head with stuff that is not true. And I learned that in 2014, coming out and getting on radio shows and putting out information due to the fact that I went to an amateur for a regression. And I ended up getting even more screwed up in the head. And if I can advise anybody, about regression or hypnotherapy, you find somebody who has been, working in that field, so to speak, is regression, hypnotherapy. You find somebody that knows what they're doing. You don't find somebody that does it on a YouTube video because they want 50,000 views or they want 25,000. Whatever it is, I'm going to call a spade a spade. And that's that. And if people like what I say, they like what I say. If they don't like what I say, it really doesn't matter to me because I know my truth and I know what happened to me. And it was disgusting, the stuff that happened to me. Being raped at 10 years old by 4 boys, questioning my own sexuality, still questioning my own sexuality, and having a child and still thinking about this on a daily basis, having to deal with that, having to deal with the real bit of trauma. Not sitting on a talk show and telling you I've been to space and I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've done that and script the whole thing out. I'm not going to do that.
Well, Sean, are you actively seeking help or have you gone through any kind of psychotherapy?
Somebody I'm going to be working with, Nori Love from Augie Nost. That's his co-host. I was just on their show last night. She's going to start regression with me. I don't trust doctors. I don't trust people like that in regular hospitals.
Well, they're pretty reputable people. I can vouch for them. I mean, I don't know them personally, but I know their reputation, and I've talked to Augie a couple times.
Oh, no. Them I will work with. I'm talking about just your average psychiatrist that you walk in, and if you say that, they'll end up putting you in a padded room.
Well, I'm glad to hear you try and get something taken care of here. We do need to help people, and healing is, I mean, once you can deal with this, then you can really help other people too,
Of course. Absolutely.
Tommy or TJ?
Somebody got cut off.
They're probably talking on mute.
I'm me? You're talking about me?
Yeah.
No.
You got any thoughts or comments, Tommy?
No, I'm just listening. It's the first time I heard his story, so I don't know much about it.
Yeah, we just touched on it a little bit the other night, and that was it. And I find it very intriguing that he's coming out and actually looking for closure, and this is what we need. We need people to step forward and tell us what's going on, because people who don't have this happening to them have got no clue what kind of an emotional problem this causes people.
Well, my friend Sergeant 18, he was brought out to the Montauk Project. He was sat in a chair as well. And I know one other person who's in jail, and I don't want to talk about him, but yeah, they've been out there. They've been involved with. He was taken when he was a little kid as well, and put through this whole thing. I lived in Jersey, so I mean I was really close to it, but it was not a good thing, and everything they did was evil, if you want to call it anything. They were getting children from all over the world. I mean, Preston Nichols and Al Bierlich were involved with it, but Al Bierlich was more involved with the the Philadelphia experiment. Preston Nichols was involved with that because he went out there. He went into the base. He went in. They sealed it up with concrete once they closed it down. There was a lot going on there. I mean, the antenna, the satellite antenna they have there is still there. It's a super big thing on the tip of the island. But I know they moved the base because I was out there and I saw the helicopters above me disappearing and everything. So I got involved with it. Not that I was pulled into the workings of it like these people are. And everybody I told.
I wonder what happened to him.
Was that me or you?
It was you? You just stopped talking.
Oh, I have no clue what's going on. But yeah, it's not a good project, and luckily they kind of closed it down as far as being on the tip of Long Island where it was. So yeah, Montauk is a beautiful place. I mean, it's one of the most, it's probably the best fishing places in the world. They get every kind of fish through there, swordfish, sharks, you name it. They get bluefish, striped bass, and all the other kind of weak fish and stuff that come through there as well. So yeah, it's one of the most populated places in the summer and even parts of the winter for fishing. But as far as the Montauk Project, very few people even care out there. If you try to talk to people about it, they have no clue what went on, where it is, what it was, or anything.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Finally. All right, Ken Johnston, can you hear me? Ken's here too. Ken,
yes, I
can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, good. Okay, well, let's get the rest of the show going here so Sean can meet everybody. Everybody, this is Ken, Ralph Kennedy Johnston, Senior. He goes by Ken Johnston. You may know him in his uniform at some of the events, but this is Ken Johnston, and he's over around Albuquerque, New Mexico. So, Ken, introduce yourself to our new guest, Sean Fowler, and everybody out there. I've got a lot